Oh yeah, hey, we back. Let me just test this to see if it's good. Today, first episode back. Welcome back to Yarns with Marns. It's been a hot minute. I feel like I've said that so many times. I feel like I've said that so many times that we're back. But if you follow me on social media, you'll see that I've been back consistently posting and doing daily videos and stuff like that. And I said to myself, okay, if I can commit to 3 weeks straight of putting something out every day and being consistent and being back in the zone, then I'll start back up Yarns with Minds because then I can show myself that I can consistently do something in this space. Because I guess I've talked about this a lot in regards to like hearing what people think about me, and I feel like I'm well over that wall at the moment. So there's no barriers in terms of that stuff for getting back into this. So I've posted today. When I put up a post, it'll be not that it's just about putting up a post, but it's about being consistent and being efficient my um, with my aspirations in this kind of space. So today will be day 24 of being consistent on social media. So now we're back with the Yarns and Marns. I showed myself 3 weeks straight, and now here we are again. So it's been, I think it's since April the last time I put up an episode, but I feel like I always say that when I come back and do a podcast again. I always talk about, oh, I said this, I said that, but I don't want to talk about that today. Today, what we're going to talk about is ultimately what I'm up to in the future, like my vision for where I see myself in the next few years and in the next 6 months. That's really what I know what the next year or so looks like. But I also, yeah, so I'm going to touch on that's what this whole episode is about, is my vision and moving in alignment with the calling of my soul. But first of all, I just want to kind of touch on what I've been up to the last few months. So the last time I put out an episode was in April, and the basketball season had just started. And so if you know me personally, you know I play or have been playing basketball in the New Zealand National Basketball League for the last few years, and been playing for my hometown team, Wellington, for the last 5 years, which has been amazing. Some of the best years ever. And this last season that just finished, so today is September 17, I think, and we finished on July 20, so just under 2 months ago, and we won the championship in Wellington. So home win, big crowd, sold out in 36 hours the game. So it's been a great season. It was my most enjoyable basketball season I ever had, and I really enjoyed it. And I felt like it wasn't. I don't feel like I was living in alignment with. Well, I don't even want to say that. I just feel like that season served its purpose in itself, but it didn't. It wasn't in alignment with the kind of person I share on the podcast, which is okay, and I'm actually okay with it. I don't feel regrets or anything like that. I just feel like that season that just passed was it served its purpose in its own way. And now that I'm kind of basically what I'm saying is this year was so much fun, and I was just living in the moment. And my big thing with basketball was just to enjoy it. So that's what I did this year. Also, what I also did was picked up some bad habits or carried on a lot of bad habits, which is also what I've been on a good streak with lately. Day 24, I've been on my good habits. And a lot of that consisted of drinking alcohol and partying and ill discipline with lust and all those kind of things. So that's what came about a lot this season with me. So again, every season serves its purpose. I feel like it was purposeful in a way as well, you know. I don't believe in such thing. People will say, oh, I went down the wrong path for a bit, or he went down the wrong track for a little bit. But I don't believe so much in going down the wrong path. I don't think there's such thing as a wrong path, because every path is aiding in your evolution. So I needed to go down these paths of drinking and partying and all that stuff. And I have nothing against that. I'm not to say that I'm not going to do that ever again, because that will still be part of my life in certain parts. You know, I enjoy that kind of aspect. Like, I think about it. I feel like it added a lot to our team chemistry this year whenever we would go out and socialize with each other and stuff like that. And that in return helped us win a championship, I feel. So I'm not going to talk so much about that because I don't want to talk about the other boys in that way, but just talking about me. So I picked up some bad habits along the way, and now that I've dropped those, I feel like I'm living more in alignment with my soul and living more in alignment with what I really want to do in these kind of spaces. So I feel like yeah, like I said, no such thing as the wrong path, because that path taught me a lot. And yeah, I'm so grateful for it. So many great memories. It's honestly the most enjoyable basketball season I've had on and off the court in my whole life. I've been playing basketball for 12, 13 years now, and I had so much fun this year, so much enjoyment. The other part of that also this year was learning to embrace who I really am. I feel like in team environments over the last couple of years, I've kind of tapered myself down, or not all the time. My teammates over the years will say, like, if they listen to this, they'd probably think, oh, I feel like we've seen who you are. But I feel like this year I was my most weird, goofy, my most authentic self. And I love that. And it kind of flows into how I feel now. Like, I've been getting a lot of messages lately from my friends, my people that know me. And even one of my ex-girlfriends, she messaged me and she said, one of your videos came up on my For You page. And it's so cool to see that you're embracing who you really are, because I know who you are, and this is what my friends have been saying too. Dans and B called me a couple of weeks ago and said, it's cool to see in your videos you just being, we know you as the goofy, like you can be super serious like in this setting, but you can also be super goofy and have fun and joke around. And we're seeing that in your videos, which is so cool. And I feel like that came a lot from the basketball season too. This year, I didn't really try and taper myself down in front of my teammates, and a new coach and new teammates sometimes is a bit daunting at times, because you just want, when you're growing up kind of in the same, when you're growing up with the conditioning that I've had, and a lot of people that are listening would have had too, in regards to like people pleasing and wanting people to like you, you kind of dim your light, or you taper yourself down to try and get people to like you. But I really stepped into embracing who I am this year. So really locking into really what I want to do. And obviously I'm going to talk about my vision and my plan for the next year and the next few years, because I kind of have not it mapped out, but I just have a penciled in plan of what I want to do. So that's what the episode about today is going to be. The last few months have served its purpose. It's been 5 months since I last did an episode, and in that 5 months, a lot has happened. A lot of growth has happened. I feel like a lot of growth has happened in the last 3 weeks too, since I've been back on my grind with working in this space and stuff like that. And I've had a lot of revelations, and I guess what I want to talk about today is a vision that I had, and the vision is about my future and where I see myself going forward. So in 2023, I had a vision that when I was 26, I was going to finish playing basketball and move on to something else, and move into a new dream. And I don't want to say the word chase, because I don't see myself chasing my dreams. I see myself aligning with the person that can step into these dreams. So I feel like I'm just realigning myself or pivoting, So that's my announcement for today, is that I'm going to be stopping playing basketball for a few years. And I've told some of my friends this, and I've told some of my friends that I'm just going to be taking the year off. But this is me saying that I'm going to be taking at least the rest of my 20s off. So I'm 25 right now. When I had this vision in 2023, the vision was that when I turned 26, which is in less than a month, about 3.5 weeks, when I turn 26, that I'm going to step into a new dream, which I'm not yet ready to share that dream with everyone, because I just want to kind of keep that to myself and keep that to the few people that I've told. Such thing as, spiritual hygiene, and kind of trying to not share that dream with so many energies right now, because I'm not actually pursuing that dream right now. I'm also just taking some time away from any kind of sport and any kind of commitments, and just living. What I really want to do is some travel. So next year I'm going to do some travel. But for now, I'm just in Wellington. I'm in the process of trying to find me some work, just so I can do something different. And I honestly have never felt I have felt in alignment with myself before, but I feel in such alignment with my soul and the calling of my soul. And that's essentially what today's talk is about, is moving in alignment with your soul. So when I had this vision, it was so clear. I've never had this vision before. I've never had a vision that clear before. And, it's once I'm ready to share what that dream is, it's going to sound delusional or crazy to some. And it is. And I believe that one of my friends that I met in New York one time, she told me that delusion is a form of manifestation. Like, you have to be delusional. You have to think that you can do something before you can do it, and be a little bit crazy and be a little bit bold and wild with your thoughts and your dreams. And so when I'm ready to share this, you're going to think that's crazy, but I'll share that at a later date. But I've never felt like this is quite a daunting thought, is stepping away from what I've known for the last 12, 13 years. I started playing basketball when I was 13, and now I'm about to be 26, and I played 7 seasons in the NZNBL, 5 seasons at the Saints. I've played over 100 games in the NZNBL, and it's all I've known. Well, it's not all I've known, but it's what is comfortable for me. So that's why it feels daunting sometimes to think about it. But honestly, since I've kind of put this out here more and told a couple more people about my dream and my vision, it feels so freeing, and it feels like, yes, I'm moving. I've been getting so many signs and omens lately that this is what I'm doing is right. And part of this also has taught me to be okay with being misunderstood. My dream is not going to make sense to everyone, but it's like so I've shared this before. I'm pretty sure I said, and it's not my original words. I've got this from somewhere, but it says that your calling is not a conference call. Your calling is not for everyone. Your calling is for you. It's specific to you and your soul and your journey, and it's authentic and unique to you. So that's how I feel in regards to my calling, is that this calling only has to make sense to me. No one else had the vision for me. I had this vision. So I was a little bit, not discouraged at times, but questioning, am I doing the right thing? Basketball is all I know, and shall I just stick with basketball? But I felt so sure of myself in the last few weeks, and I talked about dropping some bad habits, and a lot of those habits were inhibiting my ability to think clearly for myself and trust my intuition and trust my inner voice. And so since cutting out some of these habits over the last few weeks, I've been thinking so clearly, and I know for sure, again, there's no such thing as the right path, but I know that I'm on the right path, or I know that I'm moving in alignment with my soul's calling. And that brings me so much peace, knowing that I'm listening to my soul, because there's been times over the years where I've thought maybe I should give basketball a little bit of a break. I remember in the 2023 season, I was negotiating my contract, and it wasn't going as smooth as I wanted. And I thought, okay, maybe this is a sign that I should have the year off and go traveling. And another time in 2022 season, where some things popped up with some world events about some decisions I had to make. And I decided I was going to take the year off basketball to stay true to my values. And I feel like all these moments are preparing me for this, like I feel excited for the next leg of the journey and to follow my vision. And I don't feel, I've had some times over the past couple of weeks where I get a little bit emotional thinking about my journey with basketball, and my best friends I've met through basketball. All my close friends pretty much a lot of them are through basketball. And I've traveled I've traveled a lot for basketball. I've seen all of New Zealand pretty much through basketball. Been to Las Vegas a few times, China a couple times, Australia. Got to meet and play with and against some of my idols growing up. And basketball has given me so much. And this is the way I put it. Is that I was thinking about this. I've been in 2 romantic relationships before, like 2 serious ones, and obviously going through breakups because I'm not with either of them. And going through both of those breakups, I still loved my significant other, or my former significant other. I don't like to say ex, but I still loved my significant other, or my former significant other. And the love wasn't lacking. Like, I remember when I parted ways with my previous partner, and we said, if love was all you needed in a relationship, then we would be sweet and we'd be together forever, because we loved each other so much. But we understood that our paths just didn't align with each other anymore. Every season serves its purpose. I was in my first relationship for 5 years, and my next one for, let's just say a year. It was kind of 10 months and then a little bit after. And both of those relationships serve their purpose, and every season serves its purpose. You meet people for a reason or a season or whatever else. And there was many reasons for why we met and why we were together, but also the season had just come to an end, and that was okay. So that's how I feel. So we loved each other. I still loved my partners when we were separating, but we just knew, or I knew, that our paths just didn't align with each other, and it was going to be forced, or it was just staying together because that's what we knew was comfortable. And that's exactly how I view this relationship or this partnership or connection with basketball, is that I love basketball, and I know basketball loves me, because it's a relationship that goes both ways. Basketball's given me so much, and I've given basketball so much. I've pretty much dedicated my whole last 12, 13 years to basketball, and I love playing it. I love watching it. I love the connections it's given me. I just love basketball and all that it brings to me, the joy, the sadness, all that kind of stuff. I'm here for it all. But I just know that deep inside it doesn't align with me and where I'm going next and where I am now, because I can't control what happens next. But I just know that basketball doesn't align with my path right now. And it's like when I moved on from my partners in the past. I loved them, but it was time for me to move on because our paths just don't align. And I love basketball, but it's time for me to move on, and our paths just don't align. So, and that brings me excitement, and it brings me so much joy. And I see it as such a blessing that I got to finish playing basketball for now, winning a championship for my home city, and my second championship in the NZNBL too. So I feel very blessed to be able to do that. And I feel very blessed, like it was every omen added up. Like this is my most enjoyable basketball season. I got so many opportunities to play this year. I played my 100th game this year. We won the title. And then to top it all off, I just got a trip. And to top it all off, I just went on a trip to China a month ago. And it was all paid for, and flights, accommodation, food, everything. And it was only a week-long trip. And when I was there, I remember reflecting, and I thought, because I knew about my vision. Obviously, I had my vision in 2023. I just kind of kept some things to myself. And I knew that this was going to be my last basketball tournament playing professionally and properly. And this is how I saw it, was kind of like a thank you for your service gift from basketball. You've given 12, 13 years to the game, and well, you've spent 12, 13 years with the game, loving each other. And now that basketball knows I'm going on to something new, it's like, here, thank you for your service. We're gonna gift you with a trip to China and to hang out with my bro Dans as well. Like, Danny and I became really good friends in 2015. So 10 whole years ago, when we were 15 and 16 years old. Now we're 25 and 26. We went to Las Vegas together, and man, he's one of my closest bros. And that's what I felt so grateful that my last trip playing basketball for now was to China with him, and met a great bunch of bros from Melbourne, and all the dudes I built great relationships with in that short week. And it was just like here, enjoy. I honestly didn't even play that much over there because I was just joining a team from Melbourne. I was kind of like the 12th person to the team. But I was so grateful to be there, and I seen the blessing that basketball and the universe gave me was, you've dedicated so much of your life, over half of your life, to this sport, and we want to thank you for your service, and we want to give you a trip to China to say thank you, and we appreciate you. And I appreciate basketball for that, and I appreciate the universe for that gift and that blessing, and I don't ever take that for granted. I honestly had tears in my eyes at times because I thought, man, I'm so blessed to be living this dream, and I'm so blessed for the journey and the memories that we've created together and the experiences we've got to have together with basketball. So yeah, it's exciting. Honestly, it's exciting. Obviously, with moving on to new things comes a bit of grief, and sometimes, I feel a bit of, not even sadness, but just tears of joy and happiness that we got to share this life together and share this journey together, basketball and I. And I feel better prepared for it. So in 2019, I obviously did my ACL on my knee, and that taught me a lot because at the time I was just strictly about basketball. Basketball was my whole life, and I put my whole identity into being an athlete, and that's what I wanted to be known as. And so not playing basketball, being injured, it taught me to not put my whole identity into that and to find other avenues. That's why I started doing my podcast and my vlogs. I started doing that through that. So it taught me not to identify with just being an athlete. So then now I don't put my whole identity into being that. And I don't even put my identity into being anything at the moment. People say, oh, you're an influencer. I'm not an influencer. I just make videos. And if you feel influenced by my videos, then that's great. But I'm not trying to influence people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I feel better prepared for this time. I've taken 2 years off the game before, and I've taken time away from basketball and not putting my whole identity into basketball is all I've got. Like, I know that there's so much more to me. There's so much more to my soul than basketball. And that brings me a lot of peace and a lot of excitement, and knowing that every time I've thought about stepping away from the game for a bit, I've always felt that brings me a lot of excitement and a lot of joy, and knowing that I'm listening to my soul, and knowing that I've stepped away from the game before and I was okay and I was fine, and I was actually more than fine. I was thriving in those times because I knew that this wasn't just my whole life. And injuries, I've had to make different decisions. Like, this has been so important for me to listen to my soul and listen to my intuition, my inner voice. And now that I'm doing it, I feel like I'm really, like I said earlier, living in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. And yeah, so my vision for the next few months or year or so is just to work, make some money, do keep doing my videos, hundies. Like, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying not doing it for other people or trying to do it to blow up or anything like that. I just enjoy, because I said earlier, like, I feel like I'm embracing more of who I really am in my videos. It feels more real to me. It doesn't feel like I have to try and create a video. It just feels like I'm just being myself and it's being filmed by myself. So keep living in alignment with myself that way. Keep going hard on the podcast and sharing my thoughts on here, because I feel like I have a lot to share, and I have I have some episodes lined up. So I'm really locked in with this kind of stuff, and I feel like now that I'm not putting all my eggs, like when I was 14, my dad said you have to choose a sport. I had a basketball and rugby league, and I chose basketball. And I decided when I was 16 that I was just going to put all my eggs into that basket and go all in. And I kind of tapered off a little bit over the years, but it's nice to know that I don't have to put all my eggs into that, and I can get a job now because I don't have to worry about blocking out pretty much half of my day for working out and stuff like that. And I still work out to keep myself healthy, but not, I'm not chasing the basketball dream, or I'm not pursuing the basketball dream for now. And that's okay with me. And it's actually more than okay. I feel so excited for what's next. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in my life at the same time. I'm stepping away from something big, but there's still so much going on. And it brings me a lot of comfort knowing that I'm listening to my soul and I'm listening to my inner voice. And yeah, so I really just wanted to come on today and share with you what I'm up to and my plans for the future. And a lot of people have been asking, are you coming to work out, or, hold on. A lot of people have been asking lately, are you going to come work out, or are you still, what are your plans for next year with basketball? And I've kind of been lying a little bit. I'm not lying, but I obviously know what I'm up to, but I've kind of just been saying to people, I'm not sure. I'll just see when the time comes. But I really want to put this out here. I didn't feel like the need to announce it to keep people. I do in a way, because a lot of people have supported me on this journey. But I just wanted to come on and be transparent about what I'm up to. And because I feel like it could, not that I mean, again, I'm not focused on outcomes about trying to be inspirational, but I feel like it can inspire people indirectly if you feel inspired. But I'm not trying to inspire, but I can feel like it can inspire people to move on from something if it doesn't align with you. You know what I mean? So, like I was saying with the relationships, it would have just been a drag, or it would have been staying with my previous partners just because it was comfortable, even though it didn't align. And that's how it would be with basketball. I know it doesn't align with me right now. So if I was to play next year and continue the basketball dream, I would know in my soul and in my mind and in my heart that this doesn't align with me. And maybe this can be encouraging or inspiring to someone to move in alignment with your soul's calling. And this is what my soul is calling me to do. And moving in alignment with my soul brings me so much comfort and so much excitement and so much peace. And I feel like it's reciprocated as well in a way, because now my soul is finally being seen and heard. Not finally, because I have been listening, but it feels seen and heard in a lot of ways. And I feel very supported and guided by the universe and by my higher self in regards to moving into this new space. So I shared with Millie last week when I caught up with him that I'm not done with basketball. I just see the next at least 5 years of my life is going to be the energy of my world and my life is going to be put elsewhere. And again, I said I'll share my dream at a later date, but I still have goals around basketball. Actually, I would love to play at the Olympics one day for 3-on-3 or 5-on-5 or whatever, anything. I would love to play one game or 100 games for the Tall Blacks. I would love to, play. I remember I played for New Zealand 3-on-3 when I was 17, and told myself that's the only time I've ever played for New Zealand. And I told myself this won't be the last time I wear the black singlet, because, like I said, you have to be delusional, and you have to think big and dream big, and that's a form of manifestation is being delusional. So I'm just gonna keep being delusional and see where it takes me, because being delusional has gotten me so far already, and I'm only 25, about to be 26. Not that age is a thing, but yeah, I'm gonna spend the next 5 years at least pursuing something different and aligning myself with another vision and another dream of mine. But for the next year, I'm not gonna be chasing that dream or aligning with that dream. I'm just gonna be being. I'm just gonna be living. I'm just gonna be having fun, do some travel, work a job, connecting with like-minded people, keep doing my videos, my podcast, and just keep listening to my inner voice and what my inner voice wants. And my younger self, I always honor him. He always wanted to. Something that was important to him was his freedom. He loved being free, and he feels so seen and so heard right now. The young 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 10-year-old Marns that's inside me. he feels seen and heard right now. And so I'm gonna keep listening to him and I'm gonna keep seeing him. And yeah, so I don't think there's anything I missed. I just really want to cover what I've been up to, what I'm up to next, and kind of the vision and stuff like that. So if you know my vision too, please don't share that with others. Yeah, in regards to the exact dream, please keep that to yourself for now. But yeah, there's only a select few, less than 10 people, my close ones, siblings, all that kind of stuff. So it's exciting. I honestly feel so excited. Like I said, when you move in alignment with your soul and you listen to your soul's calling, you feel peaceful and you feel free. And that's how I feel. I feel free and I feel at peace right now with my decision, knowing that I'm listening to my soul, I'm listening to my heart. And yeah, so thank you so much to basketball, man. Basketball basketball has been such a big part of my life. And I know that it's all love from the game and all the people I met through the game. And like I said, it's not the end, but for the next 5 years at least, until my early 30s, I'm going to be doing something else. And that brings me so much excitement and peace. So, yeah, thank you so much, basketball. I can't even say it enough. Giving me the world, and I've given you my world for the last 12, 13 years, and it's gone hand in hand. And it's true love. But like I said, sometimes love isn't enough, and you have to, if something doesn't align with you, then you have to listen to your calling of your soul. So that's all I got to say today. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. We're back with the podcast, and it feels so good to be back in the space, baby. We back. So yeah, it's all love. I appreciate everyone for real. Peace and love. Thank you so much.